Sony showed off the new Alpha A1 as a camera that captures the shot, that captures the detail that you see in your mind's eye. Their mission is to support creativity, to exceed our expectations, devotion to speed, to astonishing image quality, and to deliver never-seen-before video capabilities exceeding anything found in the current Canon EOS R5 or any other full-frame mirrorless camera. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Simon. Thanks for tuning into The Ordinary Filmmaker. Subscribe to get notification of new videos like this one so you don't miss any news, rumors, gear reviews, or tutorials. And to make things just a little bit more exciting, I'm giving away a brand new Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera to one lucky viewer. Details are in the description down below, or you can watch this video right here. But please look in the terms and conditions as there are some age and location restrictions. But other than that, all you have to do is subscribe for your chance to win. And now, let's take a look at the news. Sony kept the Alpha A1 a secret with only a few leaks showing up in the last 72 hours. The camera, in short, is absolutely stunning. It's a technology marvel. I'm as excited as I was when I covered the EOS R5, and that's a tall order. Canon said that the king is back when they announced the R5, and I can safely say that we now have a new king. As impressive as the Canon EOS R5 is, and it is, I've been using it for 6 months, the Alpha A1 beats it in almost every way. The Alpha A1 has a 50 megapixel CMOS sensor, and that's 5 megapixels more than is found in the Canon R5, and 30 megapixels more than is found in Canon's flagship camera, the 1DX Mark III. The one has an EVF with a refresh rate of 240 frames per second with blackout-free shooting. The sensor uses a stacked sensor technology along with 2 Bions image processing engines. Are you ready for this? It's capable of 15 stops of dynamic range. That's impressive. ISO ranges from 50 to 102,400 and is able to perform AF calculations at 120 times a second regardless of the shooting speed. And the AF, or autofocus, is accurate with fast-moving subjects regardless of how they're moving, something that's really kind of expected with a camera of this quality and caliber. And especially the use cases that it's designed for, fast-action sports shooting, that kind of stuff. And it is accurate with fast-moving objects, and even if there's a brightness change. Now the EVF is the same as the A7S III with 9.44 million dots with a 0.9x magnification. And it shoots silently, which is essential if you're shooting sports like golf where noise is a definite taboo. The flickering and banding that was common with the A9 and other Alpha cameras when shooting under fluorescent lights, that's gone with the Alpha A1. And of course the Alpha A1 supports animal, bird, and human eye detection, and not only stills but video with a high accuracy rate. Now I was on the edge of my seat watching this presentation. Every feature was dramatically improved and the capabilities so well integrated with each other. This is a camera that will make anyone proud, the type of camera that I'd expect from an imaging company and not a consumer electronics show. It's powerful, it's professional, it's the best fast action sports photography camera on the market today, and the camera is capable enough to, well, it's one of those cameras that's capable enough to get you to switch ecosystems despite the cost. Now the Alpha A1 can shoot 8K video up to 30 frames per second for 30 minutes. It lasts longer than the Canon EOS R5, but until we have real-world tests, we won't know how much time we get in hot climates after shooting in stills. This is what let many of us down with the Canon EOS R5, and I hope the Alpha A1 fares a whole lot better. But there's an impressive stat here. Are you ready for this? It shoots 8.6K oversampled 8K, giving us greater detail than is found in the EOS R5. It can also shoot up to 120 frames per second in 4K. The one delivers 10-bit 422 all-eye and can shoot detailed 4K. You have the option of shooting 5.8K oversampled 4K. Sure, Canon beats the one with 8K oversampled 4K, but there's the overheat liability in this mode, and the metering, well, it's fixed in evaluative mode. Sony brings S-cinetone film mode that's found in the FX9 and the FX6. And of course, as I mentioned, in stills mode, also applicable in video mode, it has a staggering 15 stops of dynamic range. Canon also provides 15 stops of dynamic range, but you're going to have to go ahead and buy a cinema camera like the C300 Mark III for $11,000 to get that capability. And of course, a camera of this caliber comes with IBIS and supports 16-bit RAW over HDMI. Now, like Canon, Sony came right out and admitted that their camera overheats, but hold on a minute here. It's limited to 4K 60 and 8K. and there's no mention of a 30-minute recording time. It doesn't appear that the camera overheats in any other modes. Simply put, I'm in love. But at $6,000, which is a whole lot less than $10,000, and this goes back to what I was saying last night, I really think that when we heard the $10,000, it was probably somebody from Australia saying it's $10,000, which you've got about a 30% conversion rate, and the taxes are baked in, which would put it somewhere under $8,000, and that's where this camera is. But I can't afford this camera, nor can I afford to replace my current lens inventory with the Alpha 1. I'd really like to have this, though. I'd really love... This camera's got me excited. Now, I don't feel any less capable with my R5. I still feel like I've got a great camera, but this thing, the Alpha 1, it's got me dreaming. Now, if you're a Sony customer and you can justify this camera, well, go ahead and pre-order the Alpha 1 using my links down below at B&H. It's an impressive camera for both photo and video. It's powerful, and it solves a lot of issues that I have with my Canon EOS R5. Have a Canon camera and are considering the Alpha 1? Well, you might want to consider waiting a few months until Canon announces the EOS R1, their replacement, their mirrorless replacement for the 1DX Mark III. And if you want to wait and see what specs we have there, then that might help you make a decision, because switching systems is going to cost a lot. And we don't really know much about the R1 at this point. One thing that we've been confirmed, according to Canon rumors as a CR2, is that the R1 will have a global shutter and it will have quad pixel autofocus. But outside of that, we know very little about this camera. I really doubted it was going to have 8K, but here we have Sony, their new flagship camera, the One. It does 8K at 30 frames per second, 8.6K oversampled, and you get 30 minutes of recording, so it's pretty powerful. Now, I'm not so sure that they'll beat the other video modes, but we'll see. Now, make no mistake, this is a serious camera that delivers results. It's more capable than any other stills hybrid camera out there today. I'm gushing because Sony didn't hold back. I do have some remaining questions, though. Did Sony eliminate the 30-minute record limit in this camera, too? I really expect that, because they did that in the A7S III. Does it give content creators flexibility with metering in video modes, or are you stuck with something like evaluative mode, like I am with the R5, even in manual mode? And does it output in Apple ProRes 422 or RAW? This would be a great boon for us in editing. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. After all, this video is coming out just after Sony made their announcement, and I really do recommend watching that video after this. But wait, there's more. This camera is constructed of magnesium alloy. It has dual CF Express Type A cards. Really wish it had Type B. Just all this media we have around, it'd be nice if we could use just... I like that SD cards are very variable. You could have V90, V60, V30 cards, and they're all fit in the same slot, UH1, UHS2, but Type A, Type B CF Express cards, these things are fat, expensive enough. I wish we just had a single form factor. Like many other current cameras, it does have a separate photo and video mode. But this camera offers very powerful telecommunications capabilities for moving your content off the camera. This is very important for professionals. Now, this camera has two Wi-Fi antennas. It has USB 3.2 capable of 10 gigabits per second, and it has a 1 gigabit network port. It also provides you with high-speed tethering, the ability to deliver images to FTP so you can get your content right off your camera and onto an FTP server. And it also allows you to live stream 4K, so it's got some very, very powerful telecommunications capabilities. I'm really excited. Sony didn't hold back. The same zeal and innovative spirit that Sony saw, or that saw Sony climb out of the basement into the #2 spot in worldwide sales, is back in force with the Alpha 1. This can only be good for consumers whether you're invested in Sony or not. Now, I love to get my hands on this camera. Sony, please send me this camera. I mean, I really would, but for me to be able to afford this camera, I need to be able to grow this channel a whole lot more before that's even possible. And I also think that this kind of makes cameras like the A7S III seem like yesterday's technology. The Alpha 1 is the new king. I wonder, what will Canon's answer to the Alpha 1 be? How will Nikon respond? I'm really curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this camera and what you think Canon and Nikon and other companies are going to do to respond. And also, how do you think companies like Panasonic and Olympus and Pentax are going to respond to a camera like this? I'm completely gobsmacked by this announcement. Now, I've seen a lot of virtual press conferences from Canon, Panasonic, Sony, and many others over the last, I guess, year now. And many of them have kind of left me, meh. You know, the Panasonic S5, yeah, the A5, yeah. Not all that impressive. And even Canon's presentation of the R5 wasn't that, you know, yeah, it didn't excite me as much. even though the camera technology didn't. Maybe that's because they leaked it to death prior to. But this one here, from the very first second I tuned in, like almost every scene, almost every frame where they dropped something new, it was like, oh, that's nice. Oh, wow, look at that. And what I really like too is when they presented the information, they weren't just delivering us specs, they were delivering it as capabilities. And the whole point of integrating these capabilities so they weren't standalone. So if you got 8.6K oversampled 8K video, you weren't losing the autofocus capabilities, you weren't losing dynamic range or anything else. Everything was integrated to work together. And I'm really curious, I'd really love to have this camera. Now, the only problem for me, see, if Canon did this, then I would look at selling my R5 and I'd pay a little bit of a premium and upgrade to the R1, but I'd keep all my glass. To get to this Sony camera, I've got to sell everything, right? And you know, maybe later in the year that's possible. It really depends on how this channel grows. I've grown to 20,000 subscribers in just over a year. And if I can double or triple that, then I get more income and I'm able to get more cameras. I don't like getting cameras for a day or two and trying them out. I'd rather use it day in and day out, and that's where I'm starting to know some of the flaws with the R5. If I just had it for a week or so, I wouldn't notice some of the issues like evaluative mode. When you're shooting video on the R5, even shooting in manual mode, you don't have any control over your your metering settings. So in stills mode, quite often you can choose evaluative, you can use spot, you can use a slightly larger spot. There's other options. But when shooting video on the R5, despite it being a $4,000 camera, there's no choice. You're on evaluative mode. And I know, I don't have to really tell you the problem with evaluative mode. I like to think of evaluative, it's average. It's what you put in auto mode, but if you're serious, you never shoot in evaluative mode because it's always going to bite you on the ankle. It's like having a pit bull. You know, they're cute and cuddly, they're adorable creatures, but every now and then you look at it thinking like, when are you going to bite me? And, well, evaluative mode in video is always going to bite you. But no, I'm really excited by this camera. I'm sure there's going to be some gotchas. I'm really excited to see some real-world tests, and not by the ambassadors. I want to see real-world tests by real people. Put this camera through its paces, especially on the video side, because this is the ordinary filmmaker after all, not the ordinary photographer, although that is a catchy title. But that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe to the Ordinary Filmmaker for your chance to win 2 Angelbird 128GB AV Pro MK2 V90 SD cards, along with a dual SD card reader. Or you could also win the Ulanzi LED light package with accent lights, underwater lights, and various other flat panel lights. I'll be awarding these 2 prize bundles to one lucky viewer once this channel reaches 30,000 subscribers. And then I'll be offering up a different prize every 10,000 subscribers until we reach 100,000. Now, once I reach this significant milestone, I'll be awarding a brand new Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera to one lucky viewer. And on that somewhat watered-down bombshell with all the news from the Alpha 1, thank you once again for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. I appreciate it. We'll see you again soon.